Love bombing isn't just excessive attention, affection, gifts, or compliments. Love bombing is grooming. It sets the stage for the performance of a lifetime. In the beginning, it feels like we've finally met the person we've been waiting for. They want to know everything about us, our childhood, our relationships, our fears, our dreams, what hurt us, what we want our future to look like. We think we're building intimacy, but they're also learning us. They listen carefully. They remember what matters to us. They learn what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel loved, and what we've always wanted from a partner. And then they start reflecting those things back to us. Suddenly, we have the same values, the same interests, the same relationship goals, the same vision of the future. This is mirroring, and everything moves incredibly fast. Constant texts, long phone calls, intense affection, deep conversations, future plans, soulmate language, things that normally take months to develop happen in weeks. And that speed matters because we're becoming emotionally invested before we've had enough time to see whether their actions consistently match the person they're presenting to us. And this is something every survivor needs to understand. We didn't ignore the red flags. We didn't see them because we didn't think to look for them. We thought we were falling in love. We had no reason to believe we were being groomed for abuse, and the person standing in front of us was working very hard to make sure what we were experiencing looked and felt exactly like love. Love bombing creates trust. Mirroring creates connection. Future faking creates investment. Accelerated intimacy creates attachment. And that attachment matters later, because when the person we fell in love with starts changing, we don't immediately think the beginning was a performance. We wonder where they went. We wonder what happened. We wonder what changed. And eventually we start wondering what we did wrong. But there's another part of love bombing that we rarely talk about: the stories they tell us about the people who came before us, the crazy ex, the jealous ex, the obsessed ex, the ex who supposedly just won't leave them alone. Those stories aren't meaningless. They're setting something up. During love bombing, we hear about the person who came before us, the crazy ex. They're jealous, obsessed, bitter, controlling. They can't let go. They keep calling. They keep texting. They're stalking them. They want them back. And we don't recognize what's being set up. First, it makes the narcissist look desirable. Here is someone who supposedly lost them and is so devastated that they still can't move on. And then there's us. We're different. We understand them. We're the person they've been waiting for. We're nothing like the ex who supposedly treated them so terribly. But that story is also establishing something the narcissist will use later. It gives them an explanation for continued contact with their ex before we ever think to question it. If the ex calls, they're obsessed. If a text comes through, they won't leave them alone. If we see their name on the phone, we already know the story. They're stalking me. They keep trying to get me back. I've told them to leave me alone. And we believe it because we were given the explanation before we ever saw the behavior. Then we discover the truth. The narcissist was maintaining the connection. They were responding, they were reaching out, they were keeping that person emotionally attached while telling us that person wouldn't leave them alone. And while we're being told the ex is crazy and jealous, the ex is being told a completely different story about us. This is triangulation. Two people are being given different versions of reality while the narcissist controls the information between them. And look at how effective the setup is. Before we ever hear the ex's side of the story, we've already been taught not to believe them. If they warn us, they're jealous. If they tell us what happened, they're lying. If they show us something that contradicts what we've been told, they're obsessed. Their credibility was destroyed before they ever said a word to us. And we didn't recognize this as grooming. We thought our partner was trusting us with the painful story of what they had been through. We thought we were getting to know them. Instead, those stories were creating cover for behavior we hadn't even seen yet. And the stories about their exes weren't the only things being planted during love bombing. This is also when we hear, "I've never cheated. I would never betray someone I love. Loyalty means everything to me." We heard those statements as reassurance. We didn't know they were establishing the story we would later use to explain away the things that didn't add up. And it doesn't happen all at once. That's what makes it so confusing. The person who couldn't go an hour without talking to us suddenly takes hours to respond. The person who couldn't wait to see us starts canceling plans. The affection changes, the attention changes, the effort changes, and then come the little comments, the jokes at our expense. At first, they seem harmless. "You're so sensitive. You're so dramatic. You're difficult. You can't take a joke. What's the big deal?" They say something hurtful and then laugh. They embarrass us in front of other people and tell us they were only kidding. We tell them something bothered us. And instead of caring that they hurt us, the problem becomes our reaction to being hurt. And this is where devaluation begins. But we don't know that. We don't know there's an abuse cycle. We don't know the love bombing was grooming. We don't know that the person we met in the beginning was setting a standard they had no intention of maintaining. We just know something changed. So we start looking for a reason. Are they stressed? Did something happen? Did I say something wrong? Why are they pulling away? And eventually the question becomes, what do I need to do to get us back to how we were in the beginning? That question keeps us focused on ourselves instead of what is happening to us. We become more understanding, more accommodating, more careful about what we say. We start accepting behavior we never would have accepted in the beginning because we believe this is a rough patch and the person we fell in love with is still underneath it. And every time we get a glimpse of that person again, it gives us hope. A loving text, a beautiful night together, an apology, a few days when everything feels like it used to, and there they are again, the person from the beginning. So we stay, we keep trying, we keep believing we can get back to what we had. But that is what makes love bombing so powerful. It didn't just make us fall in love, it gave us something to chase when the abuse began. The attention created trust. The mirroring created connection. The future faking created investment. The lies created cover. And the intensity created attachment. By the time the devaluation begins, we aren't deciding whether we want to start a relationship with this person. We're trying to save a relationship we already believe in. And that is why love bombing is so much more than flowers, compliments, gifts, and constant attention. Love bombing is grooming. It sets the stage for the performance of a lifetime. And once they know they have you, they have you. Subscribe for more Survivor Voice content from Healing Together Nation.